was quite a crazy moment there. I had to get to a store before it closed. I don't think I'm going to make it. But I come out of my apartment complex and there's a woman, and I think I recognize her. I guess she lives in the apartment complex now. She used to ride up and down Cerrillos on her wheelchair, and I've spoke with her before. She's on medications, and you can tell, but tonight it was really bad. She fell out of her wheelchair, and when I came out, she was crying and said, "Can you help me? Can you help me?" I went over and I boosted her up into her wheelchair. But while I came out of my apartment, I had my bag and my camera in my hand to put my dash cam in. I put it down on the ground to help her into her wheelchair so I wouldn't drop it. So when I pick it up after I help her, because I asked her, I said, you know, you need security, I can get security for you, and he can help you the rest of the way here if you need some help. And from before, I know she's kind of independent, so I don't push that on her. So, just looking at the car in my rearview mirror, it's kind of in the right lane on my derriere, like it needs to go somewhere. So I'll just get in the left lane where he's supposed to be, and he can pass me on the right. However, she said, "How do I know that's your camera?" No, like it's her camera. And I'm like thinking, oh no, she's inebriated. And I said, look, I'm not going to hand you my camera because I don't want her to get in her possession, and then I got to fight her for the camera. Because then at that point I have to call the police. So I said, ma'am, I gotta go. I helped you. You fell out of your wheelchair. If you want me to get security, I'll get security for you, but I have to be somewhere. And she said, well, somebody was chasing me from my apartment. And I said, well, I can get you security. He goes, that's who it was. I said, that's not who it was, because he doesn't live. And he says that they live there. I said, he doesn't live here. He lives in Albuquerque. So then I started walking towards my car, and a security guy came up, and I said, you know, this woman is yada yada yada. And I said, I told her that I would get you if she needed help. So she said, I'm not going to let him leave. She parks her wheelchair behind my car. And she said, you took a picture of me. I said, okay, here's everything that's on I told the security guy, I said, look, here's everything that's on my camera. And we went through it. And he said, there's nothing of you on his camera. There's just dash cam video. And I said, ma'am, I gotta be somewhere. She wouldn't get out from behind a car, so he began to call Santa Fe PD. So I accepted her. I have no beef with you now because, you know, you're not going to have a beef with me, right? So, you know, as soon as the cops were called, she didn't want to be involved in that because it's obviously what I said it was. Then I pulled out front of the apartment complex so I could put my dash cam on nowhere near this woman. Next thing I know, she's next to my car again. And there's a security guy because he's keeping an eye on her. And it's like I'm married to her. She's got this domestic thing going on between us. Why did you make it this? This could have been something better. I mean, this is what she's saying. And I don't mean to laugh, but it's what I said. It's Native American effectuation of curses moment. She's Native American. So we need to ensure that we get that healed and keep that healed the best that we can. It is happening. Native Americans right now are suffering downturns beyond the average citizen. And it's getting to the point that we're going to see an increase in domestic issues. So I had to pull away again out into the street so she wouldn't be around me when I started my camera. And what that is that's the curses of the people that are angry because I have a dash cam. So they're the same people who've been destroying my life for the last 20 so many years. And this is the latest group here in Santa Fe. She's not part of it, but she's weak. And she's weakened and she's cursed. So she's effectuating their wills. So the security guys got her. I don't know if it's going to get to that point. She was out walking her chihuahuas. But I'm almost sure I used to talk to her when she was on the street, like going up and down Cerrillos, and wasn't so intoxicated, but it was obviously affected by medication. I discussed her medication with her to see if there was any way it could be reduced. And she said, no, I'm in too much pain. And you know, I don't know what the truth of that is. Because to an addict, and our doctors have caused many addicts, to include my ex-wife, to many addicts, being off of the narcotic is pain. So if we ask them if they're feeling pain, they'll say yes. Not to say she doesn't have pain, not to say that my ex-wife didn't have pain, but there is a limit of where the narcotics are actually causing issue and are at a larger amount that's needed to mask the pain itself. The pain might be psychological pain. The pain might be withdrawal pain that they're feeling. So again, I find that Native Americans are suffering a downturn right now, a metaphysical downturn, so we need to keep them healed. In these windows, we have the issues where law enforcement officers have to confront them, and then you have the situation like we had in South Dakota, and it was either Rapid City or Sioux City, I can't remember. However, a 14-year-old got tased because she had a knife, but that's all metaphysical, and if you heal it, you'll have less of that. But yet you may not notice that you have less of that because it would have been worse without the healing, because you still might have such scenarios. So again, people cursing police officers, people cursing Native Americans, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 curse people meet, and they have an argument, a fight, a disorderly conduct, an injured police officer. So that's really what's happening. So the whole time that I'm dealing with her, I'm trying to be firm, but I'm trying to understand and let her know that I was under. I said, look, I know something's wrong. I know you fell out of your chair. I know it was a bad thing, and I helped you up out of that. And, you know, then she started saying this could have been better. And why did you make it go this direction? So I'm like, you know, I can't really communicate with her too well. It was almost like I was married. You know, this is like my wife. But I hadn't seen her around before, so I'm confused as to where she came from. Although she had her 2 dogs with her, so I think she was somewhere within the development. But I think it's who if it's who I think it is. I think she lived across the street at Stagecoach, which runs that program. And I do notice that we are getting in my community an increased number of women, especially, that appear to be on that type of program, assistance program. The Christian lady is coming out of something in her life, holding fast to God in the way that she does it. And she's involved in a program. So, not sure where we're going here with all of this. However, we do need to heal Native Americans, and of course, our law enforcement officers have to deal with Native Americans, and they need a peaceful mind, and the Native American needs a peaceful mind. Because you'll have situations where a Native American will hug a police officer or something like that while they're inebriated or intoxicated in another way. Yet another time there'll be an argument. So it's all metaphysical, it's all spiritual. And that's why that whole relative issue is within Native American culture, because you have to get to the point, and my relatives are nobody to really write home about, I guess would be what you could say. However, relatives generally in most families, the idea is that you have your little disagreements, but you're supposed to remain a tight-knit family. And I think that's where a lot of Native Americans were after, the treaties were signed, and, good, bad, and different, back then, that there was a future together that we might be able to manifest. But yet, the bigotry, the anger from all sides is causing this disruption here that we see, at least in Santa Fe, but I'm sure it's happening in South Dakota, North Dakota, Manitoba, Toronto, everywhere. So heal Native Americans, heal the law enforcement, and hopefully we won't have an issue. Some people will issue even though they're for one side or the other because they want to feel good about a bad thing. Well, praise God in all that you do. Praise God.